Good morning. This is Lisa Snyder, and I will host a webinar today for the What's New with CareerForce, October 3rd,
2019.
And we have, I'll hand it over to Rita.
Okay, and I'm just letting you know Mike Lang is here as well, and I am Rita Beatty. I'm the CareerForce Communications Coordinator. And just a quick look at what we're going to run through on the webinar today. We're going to do a rollout recap and kind of look a little bit ahead at what's next. As Lisa mentioned, we'll do the new features on CareerForceMN.com, which there are many. And then Mike will lead the Employer Navigator section of the webinar for probably about the last 20 minutes or so. So just looking at what happened starting the week of September 16th, there were events at least 37 CareerForce locations that we're aware of, and you can see that listing and what folks did in the staff and partner section of CareerForceMN.com. I just kept that posted there, the local event listing. And if you don't see your event and you did have one, let us know, because we would like to have that record. And we do know that some people did have their events previously and so did not have them during the week of September 16th. There has been some media coverage of the rollout, actually dozens of newspaper articles from around the state, including some mentions in major papers like the Star Tribune and Finance and Commerce. Those are all linked, or many of them are linked, in the CareerForce in the News section at the bottom of the homepage of CareerForceMN.com if you want to check those out. And the earned media work continues. We continue to reach out to raise awareness about CareerForce and, whenever possible, get a mention of CareerForceMN.com in the media coverage to help raise awareness of the website. Targeted paid media campaigns to underserved audiences are being carried out now through the communications office. Because a lot of those publications are not weekly, but instead monthly, they're going to be running ads through the end of October in those publications and on those websites. So, and then a quick look at what is coming next. We're going to continue to work with local leaders to get the word out about CareerForce. So, of course, one of the major benefits of CareerForce is having that unified brand that we can leverage to raise awareness about all the great services that CareerForce provides. And just a few of the ways we are doing that. If you have a budget, we can help you place media buys. We can help you with ad design. Just reach out to us and let us know. You can reach out to me directly if you'd like at rita.beatty@state.min.us. And my contact info is at the end of the webinar, and we can help you with that. There's also a 30-second radio PSA template that's available. That's been posted in the staff and partner section for a couple of weeks now. If you need help customizing that template for your local market, just let us know. We can help you with other ideas for earned media outreach. We are continuing to ask people to follow us, follow the CareerForceMN accounts on social media, so on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And we always need blog posts and success stories for CareerForceMN.com. So if you have a success story, please share it. And if you want to author a blog post, please let us know, because we would love to help you do that. And then finally, the Communications Advisory Committee will resume calls and meetings. I'll be sending out an invite on that by the end of this week. On the culture plan side, CareerForce leadership is coming together to come up with a schedule for the remaining items that were slated for implementation, and we'll provide updates on that as soon as we are able to. And I think that's about it for a quick look at kind of the culture and communication side of CareerForce. Just a reminder about the regular communications. There's this webinar that you're on right now, the first Thursday of every month. Staff and partner emails, which I send out every Thursday right around noon. And then, of course, there's the staff and partner only section of CareerForceMN.com, and that's updated really daily. If you go to the section of the site, there's multiple ways you can get there. If you're already logged into your staff and partner account, you can just click on For Staff and Partners on the top menu bar, and you'll go to it, and then you can see that you can get to that staff and partner section Alternatively, if you're on your dashboard page, by clicking on Staff and Partner only under My Organizations. So those are the ways you can get there. Content is updated daily. This site does take the place of becoming CareerForce.com, so that site should no longer be used. All of the content that you saw there, plus a whole lot more, is here in the Staff and Partner Only section of CareerForceMN.com.
I will go ahead and cover the CareerForceMN.com update. I do want to give you a caveat there because I will do my best to cover this information. Since Joan Mole had left, I am doing my best to try to understand the information, so I will call upon Mike and Rita and if there's anything that I've missed or think I need a correction on. So please feel free to interrupt me at any time. So the items that we'll cover today will be the CareerForceMN.com username block feature, enhancement to the user account profile page, inactivity log out feature and new logo for desktop users. Anonymous users can take skills matcher and interest profile assessments and save the results. Printable calendar of events, language options, board and associations new logo, filter news by industry, region, or audience, and then lastly, the CareerForce location announcement. So the first one is the CareerForceMN user block. So users that include usernames that include profanity or derogatory words will be blocked. The blocked word list is controlled by the CareerForceMN administrator. A message will appear if a user is attempting to use profane or derogatory username. That is the message that they'll get. The username is not available. So a couple other items here, kind of a busy page, but the user account profile page update. The user experience has been improved on the profile page for viewing and editing the account information. The activity, so now there is an activity log out feature, CareerForceMN system, the security feature. Users will be logged out of their account after 30 minutes of an inactivity, and this is the message that they will see: you have been logged out due to inactivity. And then here's the new logo that CareerForce locations will see on the computers and resource areas of the lab.
Career Lab, yes.
Thank you, Career Lab. I saw you start looking at me, Mike, lab. So that's the new logo that they, career seekers will see on the computers. The interest profiler and skill matcher assessments for anonymous users. Now they can take these assessments, and so the way they would get to them would be at the home page, they click on for career seekers. They go to the link, assess your skills and interests, and set practical goals for personal fulfillment. They click that link on. It'll take them to the career, search your career off right page. And then they scroll down a little bit. They'll see the assessment icons, and they can click on either one of those. Here's an illustration of the skills matcher assessment process. So an anonymous user would they would answer the 40 questions, and by the way, they have to answer all 40 questions. If they don't, they'll get an error message, and it'll show what questions that were not answered. So they have to answer all 40 questions to proceed. If they proceed, then they can get the results by clicking on and update career goals. They can also cancel out or start over, but if they click on the update career goals button, that will take them to the login or create an account page. And at that point, they would create an account. Noted here is that the interest profiler, skills matcher, and the occupations in demand is now viewable by page versus the modal. So as soon as they sign in or log in or create an account, then the My Goals, My Career Goals page appears. These are careers you want to add to your dashboard. They'll see the goal, let me back up here. So back to this one. After they select the results, after they submit their questions, they will get a page of the results of the careers that match their skills. They do have to select whatever careers they're interested in, and then those selected careers will then show up on their My Career Goals page. Then they'll see these careers, but to be added to the dashboard, they will need to click on that Update the Career Goals button on their dashboard, and as soon as they click that on, they'll see the My Career Goals page was updated, and that will include the careers that they did select. So a couple things about that. They can, as now they have an account, they will be able to see by these two icons. They'll show them the saved results, and the key thing here is to see if the results have been saved. It says see, and then you click on the View Careers. If those results were not saved or they want to retake it, then it would take your skills matchers and find careers, so then they would select that one. It was saved, your results are not saved. And they can only do this for one instance, so they can redo them, but it only saves one of the results of the assessment. This also applies to the interest profiler assessment results as well. So here's an illustration of the interest profiler results. There are 60 questions that need to be answered, and again, they need to answer all of them to proceed. Career interest assessment renders career matches with the user's interest, and again, they'll get careers that match their interests, and they do have to select them, and then select the results too.
That'll save, if they save that, it'll update their career goals, and they can save up to 6.
Oh, thank you for that.
Just a key point on that too, if you want to go back to the interest profiler page.
Oh, okay.
Because those results are savable now, that's really a unique thing. I don't believe there's another site out there that does this level of interest profiler assessment that allows you to save your results. So this way, career seekers can go back at some later point, reference them, they can share them with a CareerForce specialist. They don't have to go through 60 questions again. Right. So this is a big benefit, we believe, to people who are using the site. And
they can, redo it a few times too, and just retake them, which I think is a really great feature, because for the folks out there that really don't know what they're not sure really what kind of careers they are interested in, this will at least help guide them, give them some sense of what they're interested in, and maybe what careers that would lead to. All right. So another great feature, and they talked about this, I think, at the last What's New webinar, is the printable careers of events. So I played around with this for a little bit. I wanted to see how it worked out. The user needs to type in a location into the From field, then click on View More Events. That's how I got to it. Then it will take you to a location, and then you would click that location on. And you don't see that printable print events right away. You have to scroll down a little bit, maybe, to find that button. And then you click that on. As soon as you click that on, then you'll see the events and the last image of for Burnsville, for example. It does, there's a note here that the event search bug has been fixed. And then we'll cover the language translation options. So there is English, Spanish, and Somali, and the way you would get to that would be on the home page, and you would click on the language, and the drop-down menu will show the English, Spanish, and Somali. I wanted to kind of give you a couple examples of what that looked like. First of all, it translates only the top level content. So for example, if you look at the home page here, this image here, it shows a lot of the content, the words are in English, or Spanish rather, but not everything will be. So like the logo still says CareerForce. So when I clicked on Adult Basic Education, I wanted to see what it looked like in Spanish. You'll see that it still says Adult Basic Education, but two of the links would be in Spanish. So like the bottom one is register, and I think the top one would be something about the career.
Start your career.
Start your career. Thank you, Mike. So that's what it means. That's what it is in Spanish. But as you see, it does only translate the top level information.
And it does translate the top level pages as well. So like if you click through from the carousel page there, that main page, the top level content underneath that is also translated. In some instances, it's down 3 levels in translation. In
Great.
That's the point where we're at right now.
Good. Wow, great. Okay, so we have a new logo for the boards and associations. As you see, the logo is up there. There's the community partner, proud partners, and the one to the far right is the leading CareerForce. So I clicked on the Anoka County Workforce Development, and it shows you a bigger image of the leading CareerForce, the new logo. So that's what that looks like. So here's some really great filtering features. So a customer can now filter their news or resources by the region, industry, and audience. Now, to get to it might be, it's not maybe as intuitive, because I had to really learn this one.
Yep, and this will be built in to content. It'll be woven into content more thoroughly. The feature just went live here this past week.
Oh, wow.
So right now you get to this content through those subpages for CareerForce blog, for CareerForce in the news, or if you click on an article and then click on the tag at the bottom of the article, you can get to those pages.
Okay.
But we'll make it more intuitive as we grow out the feature.
That's awesome. Yeah, because it was a little, it was a little difficult to find at first, so I did my best to try to give an example. So you have to be logged into your account. From the dashboard, they click on the newsroom, and then from the newsroom page, select one of the posts, and these are just abbreviated versions of what they're titled, like search classes, as you see that post on the top, job openings, career match, or the workforce strategy consultant. If you click on one of those posts, then it'll take you to this page here, and then you can filter your information even further. So with that, you can see additional categories. So for example, like the one I just clicked on, that post that I clicked on, at the very bottom, if you scroll to the bottom, you'll see additional links for the all industries, statewide, or the career seekers. So that's how you can even go further to get to access further categories. Note though, you see all the categories on the bottom. Only the highlighted ones are the ones that are linked. And going further with that, clicking on the regional, the statewide link, regional information appears. You would have access to the program area, LMI regional analyst, workforce strategy consultant, contact information, and then other information as well.
And then a quick note on that page, we are making a couple of edits to this page to make it a little bit more clear who the resources are for. Right now, those are all employer resources, so we'll add another heading on top of that, meet your regional team, to clarify that those are employer resources. Above that, we will have resources for career seekers. And that's hopefully getting added yet today.
And then by clicking on the All Industries link, this is what you'll get. So the industry appears in a clickable map by the region. So if you go look at the map, you can click on one of the links, or you can actually click on a part of the map. And then that will also take you to some, the wheel content. Now, when I played around with that, I didn't see this information was still the same no matter what region.
And I think that's, the industry information is not broken out by region. However, the regional pages have specific information about the industries. Okay. So I think that's another thing that will probably be built out here as we move along.
And I wanted to include this one because this is something that somebody had asked for, so I just included it in there. The industry sector partnerships information is coming soon. I just wanted to show you where that is located, and that is also going to be, it's also getting worked on. So the CareerForce location announcements, the system administrators, and I'm assuming there is an administrator at each location that can add to this information?
Yep, and they would be the person who's called the group manager at the location.
Thank you for that. So we'll be able to place announcements on the CareerForce location pages. Here's another image of what that would look like for those folks who would do that. Announcements could include, but not limited to, the increment, weather closures, holidays, power or system outages. Here's an example. To add an announcement, go to the CareerForce location page and click on the announcement button. There's a little bit more on that. So here's another example of what that would look like. The page, the image to your left is the information that's going to ask you to fill in about whatever it is. announcement. And then the image to your right is an example of an announcement for Thief River Falls. It's about a closure. So I think that's an awesome feature.
And this was something that definitely, it surfaced as something that was needed last winter, hoping that this will help locations, you know, if there's no way for people to get into the office because there's just been a foot of snow, this is a way to let people know.
But we will have no more water main breaks in CareerForce locations. That's our plan.
Right. And that you would also include in the announcement. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Mike now.
All right. And I'm going to take you through some of the resources and tools available to employers on CareerForceMN.com. There are many, and as this site keeps growing, and it will continue to keep growing, these webinars are very important to stay up to date with all these new features being added. I will admit that prior to coming here and getting more involved with the CareerForce systems team down here, I was surprised at how many things I may have missed about what's been added to the website. So this should be informative for everybody. Some of the tools that we're going to go over that are available to employers are also available to job seekers as well, such as the customized labor market information data. So that kind of an overview of what we will talk about today on this slide is that we'll show you how an employer who creates an account will be able to see both statewide and local data on our labor market information, such as employment information, wages, occupations, and demand. We're going to show you how they're able to create their own profile page that will tell viewers of the website why their place is a good place to work, and even give opportunities for them to reach out and connect with those employers. We'll show how employers who create their own pages will be able to also use some of the same blog information and news information to stay up to date about things related to CareerForce and our work in general through their employer accounts. And then we're going to talk about some tips for attracting and developing and retaining employees, view some regularly updated diversity in the workplace resources, and show how to like, save, and share content. So when anybody looks into our website, there's a number of ways that they can get into our tools for employers. They can find employers can find their local CareerForce location as just like anybody else can. They can sign up for their own account or log into their account up there at the top. They can, if they haven't signed up for an account, when they click on the For Employers screen, they will be able to, they will have access to start to create their own account. That will be reviewed by staff here at the CareerForce Systems team. It's similar to the way that Minnesota Works accounts are reviewed and created. Once they have an account and they log in, or even if they haven't created an account, they will be able to see regularly updated information for employers on finding, developing, and retaining talent. So when they do log in, this My Labor Market opportunity shows up at the top of their dashboard. And so when employers click into it, they're going to see this. This is very similar to what job seekers will see as well. But based on the location preferences they put in the system, they will see some statewide economic highlights, but also some data that will be more specific to the region that they're in, as well as they'll be able to drill down into it. You see the labor force, the unemployment, and all that. They can customize that by going to their regions, and also specific to, I believe, specific to industries as well, if they target some of that information and drill down a little bit deeper into it. And then these pages will also show information about news, blog posts, and other things will be displayed here as well.
Specific to that region.
Yes, specific to your region, yes. So in the My Labor Market section, they can also learn more about the occupations that they're currently or frequently hiring. This is very helpful for especially smaller and growing businesses to find information. This is similar to what we've had in other systems when we have employers using them. It's a great place to see how occupations are defined, how the wage detail and other important information that is helpful when posting and recruiting talent in Minnesota.
Including demand.
Yeah, including demand, yes, and so that's a very important thing for employers to consider when they're determining what wage they should be setting a position at, or how long it might take them to recruit for a specific vacancy. Also in the My Labor Market, they can see regional demand. It's like we're talking about, and the typical daily activities and more information. So all this is available to job seekers who are considering different occupations as well. This for employers and job seekers can now see this information targeted specific to their area, and it will even show the demand for different regions of the state as well. The employer profile pages, every time an employer creates an account on CareerForce Summit, they are invited to create an employer profile page on the site, and it will look a little bit like what you see on the screen here in the upper left. There's a link at the bottom of every screen that says to our employers, I believe, or connect with our employers. And based on your location preferences, you'll see employers near you, and they'll show up on these title cards just like the rest of the site operates. And if they click Learn More, they'll see some employer-generated information about what that company is and does. And you'll also see where they're located and some contact information for them as well. In this example on the screen has the phone number and website to invite customers to connect with them. As we all know very well, but just as a review for employers, any jobs that they have posted with MinnesotaWorks.net or the American Job Exchange will be pulled into CareerForceMN.com, and they'll be able to see them in this. And so it's great to demonstrate this for an employer, that if by using our tools, they're able to show up here, and these postings go even wider than just this as well. They can, as I mentioned, there are two ways for them to get their Minnesota postings to show up as an employer at MinnesotaWorks.net or using the National Labor Exchange. When job seekers click on those jobs, they may have to register with Minnesota Works in order to apply or to see some of that, but depending on the source of the information, they may not have to do that, because some of the ones coming in from the National Labor Exchange do not require a MinnesotaWorks.net connection.
I believe right now it's about 70% of job postings on CareerForceMN.com don't actually require you to go through Minnesota Works. You can go directly to the employer site.
And that's an important thing to notice for everybody, because I've had a couple of questions come from the field about how sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, and that's where that distinction comes from. Next, we're going to talk about some navigator resources. These are important things for navigators to have when talking with employers, but they're also beneficial for everybody to have as well. These are all available and linked on the staff and partner section of CareerForceMN.com. So we're going to talk about the CareerForce's Help You to Succeed handout, the employer profile page handout, and a handout that demonstrates how to set up an employer account on CareerForceMN.com. So this is that resource page for employers. I envision this being available in career labs and at front desks at CareerForce locations everywhere. You can easily pull this up and print it locally from the Staff and Partners website. I don't believe it's available anywhere else at this point, but that may come.
Nope, it's just on that site right now. So you can log in and download away.
Then you have the employer profile page handout, and this has got a little bit of information about the benefits of creating an account, and also some direction on how to go about creating that account. And it's step-by-step directions on this handout as well. The final thing that I'd like to close with on for the employer navigators and really for everybody in our system who provides services to employers, whether that's connecting them up to an on-site hiring event in your location, referring them to a job fair, helping them with minnesotaworks.net or CareerForceMN.com, referring customers directly to employers, is to use the tracking services available through minnesotaworks.net. It's very important that we get credit for the work that CareerForce is doing for our employers. And so when you have a minnesotaworks.net account, you are able to, or staff account, you are able to log into MAD, Minnesota Administrative Access, and find the employers from the table on the left. And you can do an employer contact search, and you can find the employer name. You put in either employer name or maybe even a contact you're working with. I would recommend starting with the employer name. You just put it in that field, click search, and it'll take you to a list of employers. And if you click on the employer name on the left or the staff person on the right columns, you will see a lot of information about the employer in Minnesota Works, and there'll be a tab along the top that says services, and you can take a number of different services. There are 16 available services that we can get credit for when working with an employer. The majority of these are not going to be things we do typically every day, but employer navigators are trained to share bonding and tax credit information. They are able to provide them resources to foreign labor certification and others. Our more common ones are things like the employer company profile, and working with them to get into minnesotaworks.net or CareerForceMN.com. This is a service that we can take. Referring them to a job fair, whether it's local in your area or a more regional job fair, is a service we can take. Job order taking, sometimes we assist them with posting these jobs to minnesotaworks.net, or screening. We might do a screening event or screen a specific participant from our career search side to an employer, or even for certain targeted populations. We can train them on minnesotaworks.net and the on-site hiring events, and even bring them into other seminars we have in our centers. Recording these services is important. Those of you who know me from the job service training webinars know that job service staff are required to do record these services when they provide them. But in this context, this is open to everybody, for the system to get credit for the work that we're doing in our local areas and regions. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me at any time, or use the chat window. And there are also resources available in the staff and partner section of CareerForceMN.com that help you with some of the services and interactivity of Minnesota Works Admin as well.
Well, that was great. Thank you. I don't see any questions in the chat box, but if you have any questions, please go ahead and enter them in there. And this is the opportunity to ask them. Again, and that's the contact information. You can go ahead and get a hold of any one of us. And I know the CareerForce Help Desk has been busy, and it's great to see that our customers are using it, and staff as well.
I guess maybe we could give them one more update about the CareerForce team in general. It has been referenced that as we move out of the period of time where we were funded by the WIF grant, in addition to that, our CareerForce staff team has reduced a little bit. So Linda Scogan has moved on and taken another position, and Jill Moe has moved on as well. So if you're trying to get a hold of some of those people and you're having a hard time, that's why. So that's why we have our contact information up here on the screen for you, and can help you with any CareerForce questions you may have.
That was great. Thank you. Looks like we have a question. Why does CareerForceMN.com log out so soon after you log in?
They just started this past month. It's a minute required security feature. You are logged out after 30 minutes of activity, and I know it's taken me a while to get used to too, because I'm always logged in, and didn't seem like 30 minutes, but I'm logged out, so I have to log back in. But that is a required security feature, and it was added this month.
It might not actually be that long, but time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's less than 30 minutes. We got to time that then.
Yeah, I could try to time it. I mean, I feel like it's less than 32, but I think it is because you start working on something else.
Yeah, right.
In all sincerity, we can review that with Portland WebWorks to make sure that it's
Correct.
that we are correct on that. We can do that at a future review.
Well, it looks like that's the only question that we had. And again, any other questions, go ahead and give one of us a call, and we'll be happy to help you. And I'll go ahead and end the webinar today. Thank you for attending, and you guys have a great weekend ahead, and we will see you or talk on our next webinar, which is?
First Thursday in November.
All right, thank you, and have a great day.